Okay. I'm not sure what my title is gonna be for this video, but I'm just gonna talk. I just saw a post in Facebook, and it says um, mga atheists that has na may mga Christian values, and it made me think na and then yung yung isa pang nakita ko is yung person na nagpost nun or mga tao na nagpo-post ng mga ganong klaseng caption, usually mga bata in the age of like uh, 13 years old to 20 years old. Bata kasi I'm 80, I'm 34 years old na. So yeah, within that range yung mga nagpo-post ng ganyan, and I think sa interpretation ko lang, I think what they just want to say is that they're still the same, like they're still the Christian that you know they are, but they're atheists now. And I like that kasi ginagawa kasi natin komplikado yung label na atheism. I know it's of course it's complex kasi by default you were expected to be subscribed in a religion, no matter what that religion is, but automatically you are assumed to be in a community, in a group of people that believe in a God. And it's controversial because here you are not believing, not subscribing to any group. So where do you belong? Like, it's scary to think when you're a theist, when you're a Christian, it's scary to think that a certain person is no longer believing, is no longer in a group, is no longer part of a community. And I understand the fear kasi I share that kind of fear when I was a theist. And that's mainly because hindi tendency talaga natin na nagagawa natin complex yung simple lang naman sana na label. Very simple lang naman siya. Hindi siya naniwala. And I can categorize this in two reasons. Like not two reasons, but two ways siguro. I don't know. Just let me know what you call it. But there are atheists who like to debate, who like to make arguments, to prove their point, and to really argue na what you claim to be true isn't true. So there are atheists like that. I'm one of those atheists. So I argue, I join in debates, I ask questions, I criticize, and I even make satire, and I even make sarcasm or ridicule to people. And I think that's fine. And there's no harm in doing that, especially when you do it to people that understand sarcasm, understands freedom of speech, and understands that there are really that arguments like that exist, and it's our freedom. It's okay. Theists understand that, but there are few theists and there are a few atheists that don't understand freedom of speech. They think it's an attack, they think it's a disrespect, and all the negative things. So people like that, or people like me who likes to argue, who likes to prove a point, who likes to debunk, they view it as people that are harmful. And I don't agree with that. And that's the first type of 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 an atheist. But there's also this one kind na hindi niya binasa Bible. I mean binasa niya ng konti. Nakinig siya sa mga arguments, mga common arguments din. Mga debates, nakinig din siya. Nagbasa siya ng libro, but not really deeply, not really doing hard research. Pero atheist siya. Kagaya ng tatay ko. My tatay's been doubtful of God since he was a kid daw, sabi niya. But he really felt alone. Like, bakit walang nagtatanong sa mga tanong na nasa isip ko when he was growing up? He didn't read any books. He just continued to be a Catholic. He followed the basic Catholic na teachings like sign of the cross, go to church, have a family. He followed all those things, but there's this doubt in his mind eh. And he can't speak it out kasi he has no friends that are doubting. And wala siyang pwedeng paglapitan ng mga tanong niya. And he's not reading as well. So he wasn't an atheist, he was just doubting, he was just asking questions in his head. But then I showed up. I was showing na my atheism, and he noticed it. And then when we talked about it, when I shared to him what atheism is, that it's not Satanism, because that is what he thought, that I was becoming a Satanist, or I was becoming a rebel, a terrorist. That's what he was thinking kasi nakakatakot yung label na atheism. Hindi siya aware na meron palang mga taong atheist. Akala niya may mga tao lang na nagda-doubt, and there's no such thing as an atheist. So I told him about it. I told him about agnosticism and all the other beliefs. And maybe many months or months later, he nag-out siya. Nag-out siya sa friend niya na atheist na siya. Nag-out siya sa mga barkada niya, mga kainuman niya, atheist siya. And he referred me to his friends na isa ako sa mga nag-change ng mind niya. Na na-understand na niya what atheism is, and there's really no harm in labeling yourself as an atheist. And naririnig ko pa nga sa kanya na sinasabi niya na if there really is a God, hindi naman siya mapupunta doon kasi mabait naman daw siyang tao. And it's if a God will put him to hell just for not believing, then he wouldn't worship that kind of God kasi para sa kanya it's an unfair kind of God. And and that's the thing. That's the other type of atheist. The type of atheist na hindi siya sa truth, but he is just basing his decisions on what this kind of organization is teaching him, and he disagrees. So for example, ang teaching ng typical na conservative na religious family is ang head ng family talaga is ang lalaki. And as he grow old, he noticed na hindi naman pwede namang pagsabayin kagaya ng ginagawa ng anak ko. Yung mga girlfriends niya, equal sharing sila sa lahat. Walang boss sa kanila, walang lalaki, walang babae, silang dalawa ang sabay. LGBT, he thought dapat the typical na na traditional na thinking. He realized when he's always watching the news, and there's this movement about the LGBT rights. He finally understands na tao sila, and bakit ba't wala silang rights na kagaya ng sa akin? Like, what's holding them? What is pulling them down? Bakit hindi sila mabigyan ng rights na makapag-marry? It's not a religious, hindi naman yan religious ritual. It's a right. Like, it's a civil right. Why can't they be married? Like, ano bang paki natin sa anong gagawin nila sa kama nila? May paki ba yung mga straight couple sa ginagawa ko sa straight na na straight na relationship ko? So, ganun yung parang logic niya. So, it's not like a truth thing. Like he was reading books and then na-discover niya hindi pala truthful yung Bible. Hindi lang niya nakikita yung logic ng mga typical na mga teachings ng Christianity. Why do I have to go to church? I mean, I can just pray here. Why do I have to pay for tithes? Why do I have to listen to that priest? He's teaching us the wrong things. I mean, really? Hindi pwede ang mapupunta talaga sa hell ang premarital sex. Sex is a normal thing. I mean, especially in the teenagers. I mean, what what we can do is teach them sex education so that teenagers know how to be responsible. Instead, we parang tinatakot natin sila sa hell because of doing sex. It's teaching through fear. So there are people like that na hindi dinidebunk si Jesus. Kasi wala silang reference na hindi talaga nag-i-exist, na imposible nangyari yung Noah kasi base sa science research na yung baha is 'di ba may mga ganong klaseng mga atheists na very factual talaga, dinidebunk ang mga claims ng Bible based on what we've discovered with science so far. But there are atheists that just uses their common sense, and they are fine with it. They live their lives like they are still Christians, but they are no longer going to church, praying. They're no longer listening to a priest. They're living their lives according to what they think is right. They make decisions according to what they think is right. What they observe that makes more sense. And I think that is what this mga atheists na nagpo-post sa Facebook na atheists with Christian values, and I like that kind of message, kasi it's like saying na, hey, please, mom, dad, brothers, sisters, friends, I'm still your friend. I didn't change overnight na kumakain ako ng bata. I didn't suddenly agree to multiple na mga orgy, lahat ng pwede mong i-imagine ng mga kahalayan pag hindi ka na Kristiyano. No, it's not gonna happen, mom, dad. I'm still your daughter. I'm still your son. But I prefer to live my life the way that I like to live it. Parang ganun. Still, teach me. Hindi naman ako closed na doors sa inyo. You can still teach me about what you think is right according to your Bible. But at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be the one who will make the decision. You will say na dyan, according sa verse na to, sabi dito na hindi talaga pwedeng ipa-abort yung bata kasi talagang sin. Wait, mom. So pwede ka nang makipag-argue and you can still weigh things out. You can still listen to your mother. I mean, shh. Hoy! Saan ba? My wife went out, and usually yung cat namin hinahanap siya. Sorry about that. But yeah, so the two types, they are, I think I'm both. Like, gusto kong makipag-debate, gusto kong malaman talaga yung totoo, gusto kong magbasa, gusto kong ma-proven wrong, gusto kong malaman kung ano talaga yung truth. And at the same time, I prefer this kind of life. Like, I don't want to go to church. I don't want to go and listen to a priest. I have better ideas of how to live my life based on my own understanding. And eto yung another thing. Here's another thing. This is the negative thing when you label yourself as an atheist. And I think yung fear ng mga theists is somehow true. And this is the reason why I don't prefer people to become atheists. I rather have the Filipinos be a religious person. And here's my reason talaga. When you become an atheist, lalo na pag early pa ng stages, you really become angry. Typically you become angry kasi yung impression mo is you were duped by your former religion. So obviously you become angry. You were taught with the wrong teachings. You become angry. And that's the tendency, nagagalit ka. Even you as a religious person switching to a different religion, you become angry to your previous religion, right? Because you were taught wrong. That's what happens with an atheist as well. Well, in my observation, that's what happens. And why I don't like you to continue becoming an atheist is because there's this tendency talaga na you are a fucked up atheist. Mali-maling morals ang pinipili mo kasi hindi pa na-develop yung empathy mo, tas bobo ka pa. And that's a scary combination. Atheist ka pero yun, manyakis, nagsasend ng mga dick pics, walang respeto sa babae, they think they're superior, they're alpha, everyone else is below them, even the concept of God, and fuck religion. That's the kind of atheist that is typically meron tayo dito sa Pinas. No, not all, not all, but there are a few. And it's a scary statistics kasi scary kasi yung mga nakuha mong mga values and morals yung fucked up na kind, yung mga racist na kind, sexist, homophobic na kind. And there's no community that can stop you, unlike religion. You have a community, you can intervene, you can call your pastor and may intervention. But in an atheist community, wala. If you go to that person, fuck you, go away, who are you, there's no God. And that's scary. And that's why I want our morals as a Filipino, as in the Philippines, I'd love our morals to collectively grow muna, no? Our intelligence to collectively grow. Our education should be the first one, and then atheism na lang ang magfa-follow. But again, I wouldn't recommend talaga atheism even if tumaas na yung level ng morality ng Pinas or ng intelligence ng Pinas. Kasi it's not a guarantee na ikaw pag naging atheist ka is mabuti ka ng tao, no? Or ikaw pag naging atheist ka na is critical thinker ka na, logical ka na, matalino ka na. No, fuck you. You're not any of those. You're just an atheist. Don't be so feeling matalino. Okay? So, yeah.